with Call of Duty Black Ops 2, one of the goals that we had was we wanted to introduce story branching into the campaign. It's something that that was a goal of ours, but also I think is something that players are going to be really excited about. We've delivered a lot of really, epic and cinematic storytelling experience, but never one where choice was an element in how it would play out. And so this will play out in different ways throughout the campaign. So I'll bring you through each one. Okay. On a structural level, there'll be parts of the campaign that you'll have a choice in, and those are going to be introduced. Hardpoint contested. Strike Force levels, where you have a choice of which level you want to play, and these are going to be the proxy wars that are occurring in the year 2025 during that Cold War. JSOC will come to you. You'll be a Black Ops team, and they'll say, "Look, there's these, there's these hotspots in the world, and we need you to choose which one you're going to insert your team into." You'll make a choice, straight out, not linear inside the campaign, but you can succeed or fail in those missions, and the story
hardpoint contested,
which is entirely new, which will affect the outcome of that Cold War in the year.
Hardpoint identified.
That's just one small example of it. There's going to be situations inside the campaign where, in true Call of Duty fashion, you're going to come upon
hostiles have the hardpoint.
Except it's clearly going to be a choice event, and we're not going to put up A or B in front of you and stop the game. In Call of Duty, it's like you're going to make a choice, and if you don't make a choice, then time is still going to play out in real time, and you'll deal with the consequences. Sometimes those consequences of the choice are going to be evident to you immediately, and sometimes the consequences aren't going to be fully understood until later, as in much like you would have in other storytelling or even in our own lives, right? So we're really excited about having branching storylines. Now, how this will play out is, well, it might have an effect on things that you might or might not experience, or events that you may or may not experience, or in the case of Strike Force levels, missions that you may or may not experience if you win or lose. At the end of the game, there'll be multiple endings based on the choices that you've made, and I think it will be, evident at that time that, oh, I made this choice. This is the net effect, of and the ripple implication potentially of that decision, and then of course if players want to go back and see how things might have been different for either the character or the characters that you play with, or what's going on with the villain, or the story arc of the Cold War and the tension that's occurring in that time frame. So there's really multiple. Think of it like there's not a single story, but there's a world that we're creating, and things are going on in that world, and things that you're doing can have an impact on that. Wow. Now, I think it's important to note that we're making a shooter and not an RPG, so it's not. But the fact that there is branching storylines and that there's depth and complexity in the narrative is something that we really wanted to be able to introduce, so that it wasn't just a linear narrative for Black Ops 2. It was important for us that while we wanted to create a new setting, we wanted also, as a sequel, we wanted to be able to play the characters that you played with in Black Ops 1 that Mason, Woods, and Hudson. So the way we do this is, and I didn't go into this in the presentation, but at the beginning of the game, you're playing as David Mason in the year 2025. And without getting too much into fiction, you're in a place called The Vault. You go to a place called The Vault, which is where the CIA, and you know this from the movie, but what's happening there is you're going there to go visit an old man Woods, because you need to learn about Raul Menendez, who you're on the hunt for, and you're trying to unravel the situation. And you find out that Woods and your father, Alex Mason, knew Raul Menendez.